Okay.
Sorry, get closer to that. Did that mess that everything up?
No, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Miss Renee Cooper, glad to see you. It's been a minute. I've heard about Winterfest,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. I'm just like, oh man, it's another event. It's put on by MoMoCon. I've been spoiled by MoMoCon, and finally having the opportunity to come to this Winterfest. I wanted to ask you prior too, but those that haven't gone to Winterfest and possibly have an idea of MoMoCon, what to expect from Winterfest?
Right. So Winterfest was put on because MoMoCon unfortunately was not able to have events due to the pandemic and restrictions and safety measures that we wanted to put in place since 2019. So we did not have an event in 2020 or this year 2021, and usually our event is in May.
Hmm.
So what MoMoCon has previously done in the December month is to have something like an ice skating event or usually ice skating, cosplaying near the Christmas tree near the Centennial or Marietta Square, places like that. And or once we've also done Atlantic Station and Pont City Market, so around Atlanta. And this year we decided that we could work with the city, work with Georgia World Congress Center, and do a full 2 day event
Mm.
for Winterfest that is closer to what we would usually do for our May show, just a little bit more scaled down. And that's in terms um, of course, the just the overall size. We didn't max or set a ticket max, but we knew that because of the holiday times and like that, we would probably see lower attendance. We have uh, contained more of the panel rooms and the different floors. So there's like 3 panel rooms. We have our exhibitor hall behind me, which is not as big as usual. It actually cuts off so that the place where we'd usually have like the dance and the really big main stage panels for multiple guests at a time, we don't have that this year.
Right.
But it's still okay because we have some great guests that have come through. You'll see your interviews.
Right.
But we have Steve Bloom, Anaris Q, AJ, just a lot of people who are top in the like who've been doing this for a while and who are maybe we have been in this for a while, but we are just now hearing of, and some people who are a little newer to the game but are voicing some of our favorite characters.
Right.
So in terms of voice actors, we still have a really good roster, just again a little bit scaled back than usual. We also have we still have some cosplay guests. We still have some online personalities and YouTubers. Caleb Hiles has come back, and he's a amazing YouTube performer who has been here many years. So we're trying to make something that's familiar and accessible and safe for everybody. And this year has, from so far from what I've seen, it's been working out really well,
Mm.
and giving people, I think, a chance to have a little bit more time with the guests that we have brought through. So they are putting and I don't know exact numbers over time, but the autograph times they have for a lot of the guests are very long. So there's a lot more time that they have to meet and greet on the expo hall.
Sweet.
And a couple of just like singular, like an hour with Steve Bloom or an hour with talking with certain guests. So yeah, we're trying to make it, I guess, a little cozier because Winterfest, get it? But it all kind of works out to make sure we can still have this event and we can have more events going forward because it's just a lot of strain on an event, and any event that's had to cancel over the past couple of years, it does
True.
put just a strain on overall. And we're still working through a lot of safety precautions and making decisions that a lot of people are adjusting to make sure they can come to events. So yeah, that is Winterfest and a lot of other information that you probably were gonna ask and didn't get to ask, so I answered it ahead of time.
Hey, it's all it. She's on a roll. I love it. No, it's funny. So normally Winterfest is a 1 day event.
So normally Winterfest, yeah, it's not even really a ticketed event. I would say this is the premier Winterfest, the thing that we are going to call Winterfest. It's the first one we've ever had. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, is this my first Winterfest?" And I'm like, "Yes, mine as well," because this is the first time MoMoCon has done something exactly like this. Usually, we will just have a December event or a Christmas style or holiday style event, and it's usually just a few hours long, like from 6 to 9 or 3 to 6 usually.
Mm.
The past couple of years, and that again would be ice skating or photos at a holiday themed space.
Where is the ice ring located?
So in the past, we have been at Marietta Square, Centennial Olympic Park, which is right now right across the street, Atlantic Station, and Pont City Market. So all those locations over the past like 4-ish years have had ice skating rink availability, and we usually just, MomoCon lets them know that we're gonna have a cosplay day and show up, and people will come through and put their skates on and take pictures and skate around in costume. And each time is just a really fun opportunity for mostly photos.
Sweet, sweet. Because I had to call you because I got lost. I was expecting, I was expecting the normal press box area, but you had to put out the sign. I'm like, oh, we're here. Okay.
Yes, this year again, when I mentioned everything is cozier, we are sharing space with some of the other
Right.
departments.
And
But it is a good adjustment because a lot of us are, I mean, I also volunteer at Dragon Con, but I do something different. So it's like coming back into a space where we've done this for a while. I've been doing this for 4, 5-ish, 6 years. But coming back in and seeing the flow of things really is helpful to have it a little bit scales down so that we had plans to move to Hall C for 2020. I'm sorry, Hall B, not Hall C. That's very far away. We had plans to move to Hall B for 2020's MomoCon, which is much bigger. Media room had its own room plus an extra interview space.
okay.
And of course, that's the goal for going forward, but we may need to, this year we just had to make some adjustments. But yeah, it was a little harder to find because we're sharing a room. But you did just good. You did well.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was man, hot and carrying all my stuff here. It's like, all right, I'm here. I'm good. Um, but it has this family friendly appeal. It's just like coming back that familiarity plus like I said before, I was just like MomoCon has definitely spoiled me and I'm used to the press box and then we were able to look out and see all the fans and all that. I was like I love it.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, the we get part of a window, so like, but that's fine. Like, I'm okay
We
with
can
it.
work with
We
it.
can work with it, and that's the
Right.
thing. You work with it. The entire convention is, as you said, it's family friendly event at its core. We want to make sure that everybody, multiple generations, are able to come through and enjoy the different parts of the fandoms that they love. Everybody loves cartoons. A lot of
Hmm.
people love anime. Everybody loves video games. So making that accessible to all walks of life and all ages has always been a big priority to MomoCon. But another part of it, you're right, is that those fandoms and this community does create a family feel with other people that, when as people who I've seen run press before are coming through, I'm like, oh hey, like it's good to see people coming through and still doing this, still recording, still keeping their shows going, their podcast, their YouTube channels. I love to see that that is still thriving because a lot of a lot of people either gained or lost hobbies during this time frame. So seeing them maintained and people coming back to want to do this still is great. But also seeing friends and other fans I hadn't seen in a long time is also part of that family feel, going and walking on the con floor and being able to see some cosplay guests or other convention runners who haven't been able to see uh, for at least a year
Right.
is really cool. Seeing that there are vendors, people whose businesses are thriving through this and are able to sell, especially because Christmas time. So hopefully they're doing great.
Done.
Yeah. So it's nice to be back in this family setting as well. And this is a big part of Atlanta, and this is a big part of people's really their livelihoods. So that I'm happy that we're able to make this work in December.
Same here. It was so funny because we were looking out. I was pointing people out from the press box. I'm like, that looks like I think it is. It's the same build. I'm like, let me go down
Right.
and look.
Yeah, we have such a good view up here. And even I'm glad that we were able to keep at least this smidgen of it. Fun stuff going on.
Right, right.
Anyway, it's always something happening,
Security.
I know. But yeah, it's really good to be back, and I am excited for a May show because I like when things are a little bit warmer, but
Mm, mm.
it's Georgia, so today's actually not that cold outside.
It's really not.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like the week before Christmas, um, but it kind of does because the
Yeah.
weather. But yeah,
Unpredictable.
it definitely feels a little. I'm not gonna say it doesn't feel different, but it's it feels a little calmer, I think,
Mm.
and that's been from DragonCon, the other convention I went to earlier, which did have a cap. You can really feel that as you're going through the exhibitor hall and the hallways, like, oh, it's a lot of space, and conventions really have grown in the past year, but having something like this that is probably lower attendance um due to the timing of it, but also because people are being more cautious about the events they go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it does feel a little bit different. It almost feels like, a brand new con, like when that new con smell and feel
Right.
where like
Right.
it's year one of a con and people are going through still trying to figure things out. But now it's like that, like over again, people are trying to figure things out. They're like, oh, but you see new younger faces and like maybe newer faces have never gone to cons before.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really enjoying it. I think this is a good intro, like attendance amount for people to be able to really feel more comfortable with it.
Mm. Yeah, and when it comes to MomoCon and I guess also MomoCon Winterfest, like I always describe it as like the not so much just anime, but the combination of anime or animation rather
Mhm.
and video games. So I definitely have to ask you this question. So what would be your favorite animation as well
Oh,
as video game?
oh no, I don't like this question. My favorite animation, that
Yes.
changes like all the time. It's like a rotating. Okay, but if I was gonna, oh no, I can't. There's no favorite. I mean, can you
I
can
mean,
you
you put me
simplify
on,
to a genre?
I don't, because you put me on some good stuff.
Okay. All right, I got it. So I cannot pick a favorite. I just absolutely cannot. But I will tell you, if you were Renee and you had Renee's taste, this is what you should watch. You need to watch Arcane. I think
I
everybody,
haven't, I keep being told
I don't
I
know why
need to
you're here if
watch
you
it.
haven't watched it. Get out of here,
I
go
mean,
watch Arcane.
I got,
I know, the whole family, you got
right,
stuff you gotta do. Arcane is probably one of the most beautiful and best storytelling animated shows of, I'm gonna say ever, but
interesting.
definitely of the decade, of the new
It,
millennium,
you
of
put
the
that much stock
I
into it?
am, because it's sometimes you'll watch a show and you're like, oh, well, it's pretty, but like it gets a little bit convoluted. Unfortunately, a lot of anime does that because as they try to explain the ending and how the character structure and the villain structure and gets, it starts to get a little weird. Maybe because there's still a cultural barrier when we're watching anime as Americans, but as a somebody who's grown up watching American cinema and watching American cartoons, uh Arcane is like a perfect combination
Oh,
of that
wow.
storytelling and those visuals. It does music well, it does graphics well, it does fight cinematography and choreography well, and the story is also really emotionally driven. So yeah, Arcane is up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this also. Full disclosure. I did start episode one. I
Okay.
believe it had to be late at night.
Okay.
So I didn't finish it and I don't think I was in it enough to, get the
You weren't
feel. So it's
keeping
like
a
not
yeah,
the right mindset at the time.
yeah.
So I'm gonna get back into it.
And it definitely like it spans a bit of time, but the flow of it makes a lot of sense the
Mm,
more you get into it.
mm.
The voice acting is spectacular. Like it's so good.
Any of our guests or
Uh, are any of our guests in Arcane? Not as a main voice that I can think of, and if they are, I really apologize because I did not look into it. But the smoky voiced Indian woman. There's like she was in The Expanse, I think. If you heard her voice, you would know. She is a character in it. Um, it's just good. Like it just tracks. There's a really okay. I know there's a beautiful black woman in
mm,
it.
mm,
And you don't see a lot of black female characters in really any animation. If you
mm.
really think about it, you don't. So she is a kind of pivotal part
That's
to
actual black, not just
yeah. And her mom is
cosplay.
a boss. Like her mom is you
Oh,
should watch it. Yeah,
okay,
it's very good.
okay.
So that's but it's still pretty like that's on the mature side spectrum of like just it's not even like an epic either. It's just like it really ties in the characters. League of Legends, I don't play it because they also have a kind of issue with their casting. There's like 600 hamster characters, but like one black guy and like no black women. So I'm like, get your game better. But the show itself is worth looking into. If you want something a little bit more silly and just like cute, adorable, but fun, Centaur World. I don't know your whole tastes, but Centaur World is like Over the Garden
I
Wall
dabble. I'm more of
and
a
Shira.
shy.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Shira.
Right.
So
If you told me, but I saw Masters of the Universe, and I'm feeling it. I don't
yeah,
want to get into this. Well, can we get? No, no, no. It's kind of
I mean that's fine. You
self-contained.
could always, I mean,
Um,
if something I say helps somebody else want to
right,
watch it,
right.
Masters of the Universe was great because I don't think at first I was a little like weirded out by it, not because I was a huge fan of the original, but
mhm.
because I think it's interesting that somebody would take the original and then flip it intentionally to get like a rise out of people.
Mm,
However, based off how the audience has grown and what sort of things that the sort of content that I feel like people have consumed and what we're now used to, it did a really good job of just being a just like a eye candy sort of like I don't know, like a roid rage cartoon. I can't
I
explain it, but it's like it's just
oh,
fun
you
to
definitely
watch.
got your fangirl service in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
does have some definite
Right,
fangirl
right,
service.
right. I mean, and from my side, I definitely I'm a gym rat,
Mm,
so definitely made me want to hit the gym, as well as the female characters,
yeah.
which in my opinion was more believable because they look like they could hang with the rest of these male characters, and like if they were going to go toe to toe,
Yeah,
they can do some stuff.
they made the body structure. So like I'm not saying that's unrealistic to have a body shape like that, but they were like, okay, how do we take the toys, which are just like boulder shoulder situations
Mm-hmm.
and like these like, thighs and maybe tone it down a little tiny bit, maybe a little bit more realistic, but then like apply that to all characters. Like we're used to, the men being like Hulks and the women being Barbie dolls. And this kind of just like said, what if everybody was just like they lived fit, like look, they're
Right.
all just fit and like Evelyn is fit,
Mm-hmm.
like
When she got her power
the
upgraded,
sorceress is fit, like everybody's just like a fit person and then they're just,
it's that type of
they're
atmosphere.
right.
I, I
So I like that.
follow I follow legit people in the fitness industry that look like that. So it's not out of the realm.
Yeah.
Um
But then they still do the extremes of like more on the extreme of like the bulky man guy. Yeah, like the magical boy sort of uh
you said that. I was just
trope.
like I
But then
can't
like the
unsee
bulky
this.
man trope of like, oh, I'm man and I just want to rage, and you're just like, oh, okay, just raging. That's cool. I'm gonna watch this. So like, and I think that also maybe ties into like the men who are watching because they're like, yeah, I just want to see guy destroy things, and you're like, all right, you got that too. Yeah. Um so it definitely was, and then Skeletor is just silly, like he's like a monologuing guy.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's Mark
They got the
Hamill,
right
so
person
he's
for it.
hamming it up, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Chewing
it's just
scenery.
fun to watch. Like we just watch it and you don't take it super seriously, but like some of the choreography is good. You get these moments of the animation like where you could tell they really like put their like index thumb, like all their fingers to make this, like they were really like this part is gonna look gorgeous and you're like there for those segments. But overall it was just fun, the dialogue between them was kind of really campy sometimes. But I definitely enjoyed it and I think yeah. And then Harley Quinn. I know there's so many that I'm missing in the interim. Like I literally just watch cartoons. So you're asking my discography.
That's on HBO Max, right?
Yes, but the
Okay.
the new the
Enjoyed it. Was
Harley Quinn
not
show.
expecting the dark humor.
Yes.
Hilarious.
It is
I
quite
enjoyed that.
hilarious.
But real quick, because you're gonna go down the list of all that.
I know. That was my last one that I said.
Let me get that one you got to narrow it down. I think I know what you're gonna say, but what's
Do you
that?
think I'm
What?
gonna say Steven Universe?
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no. On the video game.
Oh, video game?
Yes.
It's still Kingdom Hearts.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's
knew you were
definitely
gonna say that.
still
Okay,
Kingdom Hearts.
I haven't played 3 yet. I'm getting around to it. I've been a little busy. I I can't game like I want to.
Yeah.
I do want to give you a suggestion if you
Okay.
haven't played it yet. Overcooked.
Okay.
Uh, it's not what you. What I say? It's not what you expect. You would expect one way of cooking, and it would make sense, but there's multiple ways.
It's like
It
Cooking Mama.
in diff. I don't. I'm not familiar with that.
Cooking Mama was like the first, like the DS game where you're the mom and you would cook and you do it wrong and Mama would be like fire eyes because you do
Um,
so bad.
I can say there's some elements to that. You're bringing me all the way back to the
Yeah.
what was it, the Atari
No, I'm going DS
with
Lite.
the burgers when you had to drop the big pieces in layers, and then there's like the ketchup and the mustard, and they'll try to attack you, and you had to throw like salt. Uh
I don't know this
wait,
game.
what
Wow.
was it making it's like making burgers or something. It's crazy.
Making burgers. That sounds like
Which
a
is which
okay.
is probably why I'm thinking that.
Hmm.
But Overcooked is awesome. I even started cooking more at home and just
Oh, I'm not playing this game.
finding a new way of
Like a recipe.
expressing yeah, right,
Hmm.
right. It's just in the mix. It's like I don't taste my food, I feel it,
Okay.
and it just turns out like, oh man, all right,
I
because I
like
made
to
it with
say,
love.
I I won't say I don't like cooking, but I love stimulating the economy for restaurants that are local that can cook better than me.
Okay,
I eat out a lot.
okay.
That's a
I'm a
cute way
foodie.
of saying I eat out a lot. But I will check it out because if there's a better way for me to cook and not feel like I'm doing a chore, I would
Overcooked is
check it out.
nice. You definitely got to co-op on that
All
one.
right. There's a co-op
Yes.
mode on a cooking game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yes. There's not a lot. I mean, there's so much more. I just hopefully I sold you on it. You play
I
this
will at
game,
least look it up.
you will enjoy playing it.
Okay.
I would. I mean, but I would definitely suggest getting your co-op on also.
Hmm.
But it's a fun game. Really fun.
Cool. I'll look into it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But thank you for this time and opportunity yet again.
Yes.
Enjoying myself, and I need to put up these interviews of these special guests that
Oh
are
yeah,
here today.
there's definitely there's some good gems that people say. I was really happy about the question with
Drop.
Steve Bloom
Mm-mm.
and about Cowboy Bebop. I feel like that's gonna make a lot of people just stop hating. I mean, they can still hate on it, but it's just like, Steve Bloom likes it. Come on. So, uh, so yeah, thank you so much for coming out again, and I would say look forward to seeing you in a future
Yes,
MoMoCon,
no doubt.
and looking forward to seeing how your audience loves the content that you bring them from here.
Appreciate you.
So, thank you.